Howdy lovelies, how are you all doing? Welcome back to our crafting, where we learn, grow and craft together. And 7, we're going to have a bit of a play today. Now I'm going to use Distress Watercolor pencils and I'm going to color an image. I want to work with a butterfly today. Now I previously stamped the butterfly already in archival ink, because remember, archival ink is permanent and it won't react with water. So yes, it's still from the Distress range, archival ink, but it won't react with water because it's deemed permanent. If I stamped in Distress Oxide or Distress ink and I then color in the watercolor pencil, it's all fine. But the minute that I want to activate the pencil and I add water to it, the ink, the black ink of the butterfly will smear. So let's get into it. I have not colored this image yet. Stamped, it's a beautiful image. It's one of Tim's sets. And I think, I always get confused. I know it's not Specimen. It is called Etc. I think. Not sure, but I will link it below for you. So let's get coloring. I want the coloring on camera because this might just be a bit too boring. And no, I did not even open up my color pencils yet. I have used it a few times before, and I am ashamed to say I haven't used it too often. But I have done so for a bit of tags that I was using, and I can assure you I love these watercolor pencils. They are absolutely amazing. And yes, you might think, oh, but they're just like normal watercolor pencils, and it's fine. It's not there to just any other product. It's not there to just any other products that's available on the market. Tim himself is saying that use whatever you have. If you don't have watercolor pencils, don't be dismayed. Just use normal color pencils and do your best with that. And remember, this is an art journal. You do what you want to do. There's no prescriptions. I can't tell you you have to do this or that. Now, I love the teal colors, and one of my favorites is Salvage Patina, which is what I'm using right now. So I'm going to use quite a bit of that. Going to color. Yes, it looks like just normal color pencils. I am pressing a bit hard there to get the color going, but you know what? You can still do it very, very lightly as well. It is absolutely amazing. And we will be playing with a bit of paint also later. Well, mind you, I can't even tell you that as a definite because right this moment, I don't know. I might say we, and that's like that with all my videos. I might say that that is what we're going to do. But in the end, don't get around to it, like what I already did, and just don't use what I promised we will be using. So I can't say, let me rather not say that that is what we're going to use. You will see once you use the watercolor pencils, you don't even have to completely color everything, because once you add water, the color is going to mix as well, and you can drag it to those ends. It's absolutely amazing. I just love it, and I should be using this more often. Really, I should. And yes, I just want to state this again. No, this is not a paid promotion. I'm not affiliated. I'm just using the amazing products, like everything else that I'm doing. I kind of like that already. And I will continue with Salvage Patina consistently because I love that color. Big Raspberries, another color that I love to use. It is absolutely amazing. And now you're thinking, but it doesn't even look like Big Raspberries. But the minute that you activate it with water, you say, oh, there you are now. There you are now. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I do want a bit of, let's see, spiced marmalade. I normally just take my finger to work it out. Going to add a bit of orange there. Just try to stick to symmetry. So what I do on the one side, I try and do that on the other side as well. If you really want to totally rainbow butterfly, that's up to you. You do you. I do want a bit of a browner color, and I will, yeah, I guessed it right, use a bit of vintage photo in the middle, just for the body. Not too much, just a little bit. And I just need to, just for myself, just color that part. And I know it will be activated with water once I start coloring or using the paintbrush. A bit of Salty Ocean, just because we can. Yes, I'm going to add quite a bit of that there at the bottom, and maybe there as well. Just a bit there. And the same thing on this side. And yes, we will be fussy cutting this. Are they in the order that they should be? Probably not. Probably not. And I think a bit of orange there. And then the same this side. Now a bit of green. Let's do twisted citron. And then some mustard seed. That should be perfect. Am I even bothered to color properly? No. And I'm not even bothered to keep it into one direction. I go in circles and all kinds. And now, just to round it off, a bit of peacock feathers. I could have used mermaid lagoon also. Just a bit on the edges there. And yes, you can go over the edges a bit because we are still going to put water to this. So there we have that. Paintbrush, tiny little bit of water. Yes, you can do much more, but I like to just use a little bit. Now look at the magic happening. This is now where this is getting interesting. It looks like nothing, but watch this color. It is amazing. Just the way that it now suddenly comes to life. Isn't that awesome? And yes, I had now spilled a little bit of water there on the, we will cut that out, so that's not an issue. I'll just clean my brush a little bit in between. I'll do one color and just wipe it down. And that's why there's no issue when I am coloring stripy, because this will sort itself. And it's got this watercolor look without much effort. Just that one too. Just love this color. Man, oh man. Look at that vintage photo. It just pops. Big raspberry. Look at that color. There you are. Where have you been hiding? And the green. Let's do the green first. We will come back to the yellow in a second. That's such a lovely effect that you get. Maybe the orange. Let's do the orange. And there's a bit of orange. And yes, we will cut it out, so don't worry about going over the edge. Another bit of picked raspberry. Orange, orange, and orange. Can't remember if I've done that. And now the blue. Look at that. Isn't it amazing? It just comes to life. At first it looks like, oh, so clear. And then suddenly it's... I need a bit of water there, just to spread the color there. And there we have it. Isn't she a beaut? Now, this can just dry for a little bitty, and then we will fuzzy cut it. It doesn't take long. It really doesn't take long. I'm going to take the pencils off my workbench, and I'll be back. I just want to quickly just sort of trim this. It's going to be difficult because I do not want to leave a white edge on this. And I'm going to just trim it more or less, just more or less. I will come and fine tune it in a little bitty, but I want to choose the background and start working. I've got a few green colors of paint here, but to my dismay, I realized I do not have grass green or a darker green color. No, not darker, brighter. I've got almost a limey green and I've got a color shift. My paints are a bit out. I have to just get a few basic colors more, like I need a few more yellows and so forth. But overall, I normally have what I need. Now, this is not trimmed the way that it should be. I am just doing this so that I can have the size of the butterfly. And then later, I will be trimming this a little bit more. Now, let's quickly, before we start with the painting part, pick a background. Now, we've got red, we've got blue, we've got the covers. Did I not have a lime green one? I have yellow, I've got blue, let's see. I've got white, I've got something in mind for that. I'll see though. Now, let's do this one. There are the ones that we have done already. We will bind this at a later stage. So this is the sheet we will use today. Let me just trim that little sharp's tooth. It will just look too scrappy. So we have that. Now, I just need to see the size of this, more or less. So it's about the bottom half of this, which is fine. So I am going to grab just a tiny bit of scrap paper, which I normally have next to me. Normally I have some, but today that I wanted, I don't. I only have the masterboard. I've got a piece of plastic here that I want to use. So what I'm going to do, this is not even going to work. Not working. But you know what? That's what it will be. I must just now be careful. All right, that is then what it is. So a bit of green, I just, again, the way that I do it, I add cellophane packaging to the lid. A bit of color, I don't want too much. I won't start with let's just shake it up a bit. This hasn't been used in quite some time. So just shake it up. That one should be fine. I'm going to start with this green. And I'm going to just crunch this up. Now, what I'm going to do is turn this over. Yes, I will be using packaging material. You know that. And I'm going to just move this about, maybe like so. It really, truly is what it is. Let me just see. That, over that. A little bit down, so whatever. And I'm just going to crumple this piece of plastic up as much as I possibly can and make some sort of a stamp. Now, dab. That's the type of effect that we want. And you'll agree with me that a darker green would have been perfect now, but we will see what we can do in a second or so. I know I do not want to go into the process of mixing a darker green. Oops, I almost have splashes of paint onto the rest of my journal now. And that's why I chose the background of this lime green, so that is also showing through. All right, that. And then just hold that. Now a bit of green. Wee, this is not good. So let's just slurp that up. Baby wipes, baby wipes. I'll just have to. And if all else fails, I can always just stir it quickly. Let's see. Paintbrush. Oh yeah, this is quite thick. Just stirring it. There's quite a few lumps. Now I need to just get most of this paint back into the container because I'm going to sort of clean this paintbrush with my plastic bag now. Just almost grabbing that and kind of pull it off. Leave that for a moment and wipe this off as best I can. We will see if that comes off. Right, so we've got a bit of green there now. move that mask now and put it back this side. Maybe a bit more here and there. And now the last color would be, that's it, that's all we needed with that dark color. But I would have preferred still to have some grass green in there. Just a bright green. Not necessarily lime, but definitely bright. Just want to get my fingers, or this one finger, a bit sorted. Now a bit of that color shift. A bit of that. Same plastic bag. Just dab. And now just for a bit of dimension here and there. And that's it. That is it. This can now be thrown away till the next bag that we use. And this could have gone to squashing on paper to make some collage fodder. Before I forget to show you the next steps, I'm going to take a stencil and I'm going to start adding some flowers. Now, we will still fix the background, so don't worry. We all know the sky is not blue. I'm going to take that very wet paintbrush of ours and the one that I used to mix the dark green paint, and just going to try and add some pink paint in a dry brush technique. Now, I don't have proper stencil brushes. I probably can use an ink blending tool, but let's see what mess we make with this. I'm going to just do this in circles. Yes, those people that are painters will probably cringe, but I do not want to smear my paint and have it run underneath. So I'm going to use this dry brush technique more or less. It probably would have worked well if I had put a bit of gesso down, but here we go. Let's see how far we get with this. And yes, I will be blowing onto my project just to try and minimize the paint running underneath the stencil. I am yet to find a stencil brush that I actually like, that is doing what it is supposed to do. We'll get there eventually. And you can see I am pouncing on the paint. I'm not painting because I dare not lift my stencil. So I cannot paint. I literally have to dab the paint on. And thicker paint probably would have worked better than this runny color I have here. And yes, you will probably hear me blow on this as I am painting. Can't lift it and reposition it, so I need to keep it in place. All right, I'm going to lift this and let's see what it looks like. It's okay. It's okay. Not the best, but it's okay. Just want to wipe the paint off here. This can dry and it should be fine. This is okay. This is okay. Now I want to try something with this other color pink. Don't fall on the table now. This is a bit thicker. I could have maybe mixed the two. Let's see. A different color pink. Now I'm going to try and use this as a liner just to hide that green background. Just wanting to keep this thin and sort of round it off. So it sort of looks like a rose. Now we need to get the background sorted, and for that we are going to use also some paint, but light blue with a bit of darker blue. Getting the blue together for the background, some white and some blue. This is cobalt blue. Now trying to get this on there. Again, this should be now dry. Let's use our background again, just to protect the work surface. We're going to start there, just adding some blue. And you can see, one, I'm no painter, but two, anything goes. You can add whatever it is that you want to your journal. It's your art journal, you do you. No prescriptions, no judgment, no criticism. It's merely a way where you can. I just put paint on my thumb. And if I don't watch out, I might just smear that all over. So back to the journal. Our journal is there for you to express your thoughts, your feelings, emotions, ideas, memories. It's not mine. It's not the next person's. It's yours. You do what is right for you. And you will see, if you try to mimic what somebody else has done, it just doesn't feel right. It's yours. Make it your own. No, I'm not saying you can't use ideas. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, make it your own. I want a bit of a darker blue there. Just a little bit at this end. And then this needs to just dry before we add the butterfly. And yes, I did go ahead and fuzzy cut it already. And a bit darker there. Yes, I want it stripy. Yes, I want it not smooth. So there is that. Now that just needs to dry. And then the next part would be for us to add the butterfly. This can just dry. That is ready. And then afterwards, I need to just take all the paint splashes off here. I had to cut off the antenna of the butterfly, but we will draw that in with a very fine tip pen once this is dry. I'm just going to wave it a bit about so that we can speed up the drying process. It is starting to dry, but where I've added the second layer, there is a bit of green sticking out there. And it's okay, but I would want that covered. This will dry within minutes. I'm going to wave it off camera just a bit. You can see it's starting to dry on the ends already. This side also, so it's getting there. It's dry. We're going to add the butterfly now. I just want to draw a few leaves here, just for that bit of dimension. No, it doesn't look even like rose leaves. But then again, this doesn't look like a rose either. Alright, that can work. And then it's time to add our beautiful. There's still a few blotches that's not completely dry, but they will dry within minutes. They almost dry. They dry to the touch. A few thicker pieces that will take some time. I don't want to disturb it because I might just take it off completely and then we set with a green splot on the sheet. Now, you can have this upright a bit. I'm just going to add this flat on the page. Collage mix media is made for collages. It dries clear, it shrinks a little bit, so it is absolutely a perfect medium to glue down things on your project. I don't want to drop this, but I think this should do, like that. Just hold it a little. There's now a bit that is lifting up. And going to draw with my fine tip pen those little antennae that I sadly had to cut off. And yes, they probably don't look like this, but in art all goes, yeah? Going to just color this one. Just make it a bit thicker and a bit more prominent. There we have it. You can use the same pen and just maybe draw a few little birds there in the sky. Makes me think of the Hardy Dust back home. Thank you for joining me today. Go work in your art journal, do a spread, whatever you feel like doing as a layout, just so that you get the practice going. Don't ever be scared of a blank page. If you want to see more content like this, please give me a thumbs up. I'll appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel too and hit that notification bell as well. See you back soon, same place, same time. Goodbye.